All right, welcome back for round 2 here at Guardian Games on Portland paper. Ask and you shall receive, chat. For you wanted Twiddlestorm, and we have brought you Twiddlestorm. Here we have on your left, Quentin Wabowski here is playing Twiddlestorm against Sam Needle playing Bant Super Friends. Sam, really known for his Super Friends builds here, and Quentin showcasing the new hotness in the Storm archetype.
Okay, I do have a question though.
Yeah?
Is Quentin Bogdan 11? Did are
Huh? No,
are,
Bogdan 11 is another Twiddlestorm player
oh,
who
okay.
who I know. He actually used to play here some months ago and has returned to Utah, but
Oh,
in the future, hopefully we will reclaim him.
so we have at least two people that we know that play Twiddlestorm.
Yes, actually, I know there is at least one other Twiddlestorm player here other than Quentin. The deck is getting a lot of attention, I think, for being largely less graveyard reliant than traditional Storm.
It is. I also like the fact that your enablers are hexproof in terms of the land and not relying on creatures that then can be lightning bolted.
Yes.
It seems like you in the best case scenarios are a turn slower maybe, but you give up a little bit of speed for just being able to not be interacted with on along the axis of creature removal.
Yeah, you don't have to spend turn 2 playing a thing that gets fatal pushed and you've done absolutely nothing on a critical turn. Got some mulligans here. Many twiddles. Arcane spells.
I wish we had a sound effect for whenever we twiddle. I feel like we need to add that to the booth.
I
We need
mean,
some sound effects
do you,
going on
do you
here.
want me to help? We need to come up with the twiddle sound because it's going to happen soon.
Oh,
Deedle-deedle-deed. I mean, like, what are we going to do here?
we're on some two mulligans each.
Okay, chat suggests needs more Hogak, and I'm going to have to say that literal nothing needs more Hogak. Just an opinion.
Yeah, I feel like we've all seen what Hogak does.
Gross.
It's really good at the thing that it does. I'm not, don't feel really inclined that I need to.
No.
Yeah, no.
No, I don't need to watch the deck just poop all over the format things. Here at Guardian Games, we like to pretend that modern isn't broken.
I do feel like at local game stores, there's a couple people that are playing Hogak just because they maybe bought into it, but a lot of folks, even though it is the best deck and would have access to play it, are maybe choosing to sell out of it because I feel like there's no way that it survives August 26th
Oh,
DNR
it won't.
announcement.
It won't. Notably, there was an announcement from Aaron Forsyth on Twitter today that there will be no emergency bannings before Vegas. So Vegas is going to be a gak bath, a bloodbath of Hogaks. But August 26th still, we have a scheduled BNR, and if Hogak survives that, then I don't know which way is up anymore.
All right, so everyone mulligan to 5 cards. Who in this situation do you think is favored in terms of which deck mulligans better to 5?
Um, I want to say if Twiddlestorm has enough cantrips available, that seems fine. Oath of Nissa here for Sam is going to, I believe, generate a little bit of card advantage.
We got a Prismatic Vista there.
Oh, yeah.
Seen a lot of adoption in Legacy and a little bit in Modern. It's played as a 4 of in one of your favorite decks, I think.
Yes. Especially any deck that is leaning into the snow benefits. If you are 3-color, Prismatic Vista becomes a 3-color fetch land for your snow basics, and that is actually a huge advantage. If you're relying on basic lands heavily and you're playing a traditional fetch, you do not have access to as many colors off of one land. So slow starts here. 2 Spyro Canals from Quentin and no play. Sam
like
on 2 lands and a Oath of Nissa.
Quentin's big turn can be 3 if you float 2 mana and are able to start twiddling your Lotus
Yeah.
I'm always Lotus Vale,
Lotus Field.
Lotus Field. Yeah, it's going to take me a while.
So it looks like what he has in hand is a Talaria West, a Lonely Sandbar, a Dream's Grip, and a Twiddle. Talaria West being his access to Lotus Field, but otherwise, I'm not sure how well he goes off there. Oh, here we have uh, Gideon of the
Gideon,
Trials.
and we're
You can't win.
ultimating.
Good luck. So, Twiddlestorm, what do you have to say about Gideon of the Trials? Do you have things to say?
Probably Grape Shot.
Grape Shot is a thing to say about
Yeah.
Gideon of the Trials. But it's a bit of a cost. Blam.
Oh, all right. Getting in for 4.
Get aggro. Clock you. Oh,
Narset is
Narset's
very
good.
strong against Twiddlestorm.
Oof.
So is Twiddlestorm playing any Bolt effects in the main deck?
I'm not sure they are. They're so reliant on cycling that on flipping that Lotus Field and cantripping through their deck to find more Twiddle effects that I don't think they have room for Lightning Bolt because it just sort of stops them.
Okay, and a lot of the cards that Twiddlestorm plays are going to be like Peer Through the Depths type effects where you're not actually drawing the card. You're looking at the top 4 or 5 and putting one in your hand. So
That's useful.
Narset is good against them because it's going to hit Serum Vision and Opt, but you're not locked out of the game.
That's true. So here we have a Lotus Field, going to lose 2 lands to get this critical piece. But we are done for the turn.
Do you think there was any, I don't know the deck that well, would there be any reason to not play it that turn and hold it for the next turn so you could float mana off those lands?
Maybe. I think that does make a lot of sense because then you can immediately twiddle it, untap it, and keep going. I don't think that the Lotus Field right here is under any sort of threat. But if he has to transmute for Talaria West anyway, if he does next turn, trying to figure out if there's actually a mana advantage there. Next turn he has 4 lands.
I think you're basically up 1 mana in that situation,
Okay.
but that may or may not matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it does. Twiddlestorm, unlike traditional Storm, doesn't do the same amount of mass ritual-based mana accumulation. It sort of makes just enough to keep going. Oh my god, that's a lot of friends. No Hierarch. I believe we missed an attack from Gideon here.
Seems like the post-combat Hierarch also was maybe a way to have gotten an extra point of damage across.
Yeah. Not a clock change, but definitely. Here's 5.
And
Heart of Kieran. Ashion. Here we go.
that's a lot of planeswalkers over there.
Sam's a popular guy. Many, many friends.
Well, we do have a Grape Shot, but that's
There's a lot more walkers to hit now than there were several turns ago. Notable that Twiddlestorm mulligans better than regular Storm. I think more of the cards are similar, and you kind of just need your land. Start going.
Hey, you're able to loop and rebuy your cantrips fairly easily once you have the requisite 3 mana and the land.
Right, and because it leans so heavily into the splice mechanic, you can just keep reusing your arcane spells that get more cards. So here we go. We are
that was a good one.
gonna float 2 here.
We'll work in the recording studio there and try to get that as digitized.
Float 2. Float 5. Cast Psychic Puppetry. 3 floating. Where's our splice? Let me see some twiddle time. Up to 5 on the Twiddle net. Diddle-diddle-doo.
And we got third spell right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Storm count of 3. Oh, it's slow going. We're going to grape shot. We're going to kill Narset and Gideon. These are good things to kill.
Yeah, you got Sam, a fair amount of Sam's clock.
Here's Ideas Unbound. Splice Psychic Puppetry. Diddle-diddle-doo. Gonna draw 3. Can we get Ideas Unbound?
All right.
Draw 2 or draw 3 here?
Is draw 3, discard 3 at the end of turn.
Yeah, there we go. No, the splice does not count towards Storm. It simply copies the text onto the bottom of the spell, which is not weird at all. You've got another Ideas Unbound. Splice Psychic Puppetry. Doodle-doodle-doo. Storm count up to 6. Diddle-doodle-doo. Cycle a guy. Serum, visions. Find some more gas. What do we got? Narset being out of the way helps a lot with this. We like what we see. Cycle Lonely Sandbar.
So usually when the deck starts going off in this way, you're going to win. But I have seen it. You can fizzle, and there is a fail rate here.
It doesn't, yeah.
Especially if you can counter a key card when Twiddlestorm is down on mana and they're going for that sort of 3 mana, draw some cards and then twiddle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Unlike traditional Storm that can sort of get into these, if you let it go, it can get into these gift ungiven loops that are impossible to fail without disruption. Twiddlestorm can sometimes just lose to itself.
It kind of reminds me of the Jeskai Ascendancy list, where you draw a lot of cards and usually you win, but sometimes you just hit a bottleneck where it's like, oh, I drew 5 lands in a row, and that's...
Oops. Too many friends, not enough dice. Well, there's fewer friends now. A bunch of them went home. Party's over. Party's not completely over. If Quentin can't win this turn, Sam's no longer presenting the threat that he was, but... Alright, we're going to bounce Ashiok. Crew Heart of Kirin.
Curious why that was a decision.
Not sure. I don't see a ton from what's on board that Sam can do here. And losing Ashiok, well, if he gets another turn, he'll be able to replay Ashiok and wipe the yard, but I just don't see that as likely from here. Wiping the yard not irrelevant with Past in Flames, but we've got more Ideas Unbound. We've got Peer Through Depths. Here's Peer Through Depths.
Yeah,
maybe we're gonna splice a thing.
Some people asked for this.
You asked for this. I hope you're happy. I mean, it's kind of cool. Like, you get to watch this one Lotus Field just doodle-doodle-doo. And it's a little easier to think about, I think, as an opponent than traditional Storm. I don't know if you feel that way or...
Wait, one more time on that one?
Do you feel like playing against Twiddlestorm is a little bit more comprehensible and straightforward as an opponent than traditional Storm?
I feel like it's a little bit less enjoyable because with traditional Storm, once you start the gifts piles, there's like, you know that they win if you can't interact with it, so you can concede. But with Twiddlestorm, there's, even if it's a really small fail rate, I think it's usually a mistake to concede. So then you just have to sit through 10 minutes of your opponent doing something.
Less enjoyable, yes. Though I think, when you're trying to, when you have limited interaction available and you're trying to interact with their combo, I think at least with traditional Storm, you have a few decision points. Like sometimes the first gift they're a little bit cramped. And if you can figure out whether you need to deny them mana or cards, you can maybe like increase the chances that they're going to fail. And it's not, it's far, far, far from likely that you can just clip them, but occasionally. And with Twiddle Storm, it just seems like, all right, you're doing your Twiddle Storm thing, you win or you don't.
Yep, I would agree with that. You do feel like against regular Storm, when they're casting Ghost Piles, you might have the illusion of agency, and sometimes you do. Like sometimes they're like, I'm going to give you a pile of 3 rituals and 1 other thing, and they really want you to give them like the other thing. So there's interesting bluffing games there. But
no, it's not fact or fiction, but it's fun. KCI 2.0, I'm going to disagree. I think this is just Storm 2.0.
I'm saying Jeskai Ascendancy almost.
Jeskai, yeah.
2.0.
I can see that too.
Because you're sort of just cycling through your deck. Yeah, Ideas Unbound, though, is very interesting card. It feels really good when your opponent casts that card and you're able to counter the next thing, and then they have to discard.
Yeah, don't cast several Ideas Unbound and then not win the game. Just don't do that. So as far as sideboards go for our players here.
What does Sam have that interacts with
what
this?
Sam has. Sam's sideboard, he has 2 Damping Sphere, and those are very relevant. He's got a couple of negates, not a little more narrow there. 2 Rest in Peace. I don't know what you think about that.
I feel like Quinton might be bringing in some kind of Aria Flame if it's not in the main deck to sort of negate Graveyard Hate. I don't mind the Rest in Pieces, and also if you're siding in Damping Sphere, I'm kind of down with the negates too, because it's basically kind of protect your hate card situation, and you can really slow down, and if you have a Damping Sphere out with a negate in hand, it's going to be hard to lose, because I'm guessing Quinn's plan is to try to bounce.
Yeah, presumably. So yeah, we'll get to Quinton's sideboard. I think I like your read on negate there, especially thinking that, seeing white mana, Quinton's going to suspect Yard Hate, and so he's going to board into a less graveyard intensive plan, and so he's leaning into, say, Aria Flame negate can be really strong there. Other options for Sam: Celestial Purge, relevant against Aria. Wrath of God, not super relevant. Snapcaster Mage, Engineered Explosives, Grafdigger's Cage, Disenchant, Collector Roof, Surgical Extraction, and a Geist of Saint Traft.
I like the Geist.
Yeah, I don't hate Geist here, because I think, we saw last game that Sam's clock just with Gideon was very threatening, and if he can put down an even faster one with a Damping Sphere, I think that could, like, those 2 cards alone stand a good chance of closing the whole game.
Yeah, with playing Noble Hierarch, a turn 2 Geist is a pretty good way to beat a combo deck.
Absolutely.
I feel like a lot of Sam's sideboard choices are going to be trying to understand what Quinton's sideboard choices are going to be.
Yeah.
Because like the Celestial Purges are good if you think your opponent's going to side into Aria Flame, but if you don't, they're not great. And same thing with Rest in Peace, and it's sort of a playing chicken scenario with your opponent sideboarding.
100%. This is absolutely a situation, and I think it's not really a level up game, because I think Quinton sticks with his plan no matter what, and I think it's up to Sam to board around Quinton's plan. Notably, Quinton's sideboard options: 1 Echoing Truth, 1 Wipe Away. Probably going to see both of those. 3 Thing in the Ice, not really relevant. 3 Aria Flame, already discussed, seems good. 2 Flusterstorm. I'm not sure about those. Maybe. 1 Rebuild, 1 Empty the Warrens, 3 Lightning Bolt. I think the Lightning Bolts are highly relevant here. Gotta clip that in our set.
Kind of like Empty the Warren too. Empty the Warrens.
That is pressure. You just throw down a lot of tokens early, and there you go. So here we go. Noble Hierarch for Sam. Quinton starting with a Serum Visions. Seeing a Lightning Bolt. Looks like he did bring that in. And I think that might be an Aria in hand. Yeah, I'm going to say that's an Aria. So it looks like we called those. Yes. Yes, Quinton, you're scrying. Scry me a river.
It does get a little bit confusing, especially if you bounce back between Modern and Legacy and your different cantrips, and you're playing Sleight of Hand and Serum Vision and Opt, and like, Ponder, Brainstorm, what am I doing here?
Oh yeah. No, I've played decks with Serum Visions and Sleight of Hand. I'm just staring at 2 cards, and I'm like, bottom. My opponent's like, I'm sorry.
All right, what is the turn 3 or turn 2 3-drop threat going to be here for Sam?
Here we
Something
go.
good? Something good?
Gideon.
Yeah.
I know Quentin also a legacy player, so you know. Fetch to 14 here.
I guess we had a fetch shock turn 1 and a turn 2.
He's going for it.
And
Narset.
that's pretty
That's
good. Pretty
reasonable. I'd go for it too. Now, if you're Sam, do you just leave her and
good.
not downtick?
I think if you're afraid of lightning bolt, yes. But if you don't think your opponent's playing lightning bolt, you'll
Woo!
downtick. And that's pretty good.
I was gonna say I'd leave her on 5, but that's pretty legit pickup.
Maybe if you're digging, maybe if you're digging for the sideboard cards, it definitely makes sense to even consider you're cashing in Narset for your opponent's bolts, and then it gets you another card. So it's a 2-for-1, regardless.
That's fair enough. And it's not like you don't have a deck full of targets for lightning bolt, so something's gonna eat it.
Yeah, as someone that plays Narset in a couple different decks, it does feel pretty decent if you've already gotten a card from it and your opponent wastes a removal spell on it.
That's true. That's a 2 cards there. Notably, Quentin saw a lightning bolt off of that Serum Visions and decided he didn't want it.
Yeah, the turn 1 Serum Vision.
Yeah, and I'm curious about that choice, but it didn't. Oh, he was hurting for red mana, so I guess maybe that was the call. Was he was trying to dig up a red source.
Yeah, keeping castables is an important thing to do.
Yeah, lightning bolt no good if you can't cast it.
Okay, Sam, don't play a 1-drop, then Damping Sphere. Look at the sequencing.
There we go. It's Fairy Time Raveler.
So we're going to play the Damping Sphere to Fairy.
Presumably the Damping Sphere. Yeah, let's stop. Don't kill me, he says. Cycle, Lonely Sandbar. Draw a card, because that's the one card you get to draw that turn. Narset.
I'm thinking of all these cool sound effects we could add. Like with cycling, you could get the little like meow.
Oh yes, I like that.
Bicycling,
You get a yeah.
So Quentin just plays a Teleria West, maybe really needing access to the mana in the following turns.
Yeah, his only other land is a Lotus Field. And I think, the Aria Flame does a lot more work here than we're accustomed to it doing. He could send Sam up to 24 and just gun down every Planeswalker. It is marginally absurd in this matchup.
It's one way to sort of make Damping Sphere less effective is, Aria Flame is still going to get counters on it.
Yep. And we've noticed Sam has boarded into all of his graveyard hate, and I wonder if Quentin has left any of copies of Past in Flames in. Sometimes there's a hedge, a little bit of like a, maybe you're trying to level me by not bringing in your graveyard hate, so I'll just leave in one Past in Flames. It's not that big an investment.
So Past in Flames is in the main deck for this Twiddle Storm list?
Yes, but,
okay.
It's not, it wouldn't be strange for those to get boarded out in favor of things that don't mind Rest in Peace. And sometimes you'll see some copies boarded out, maybe like one left in for the occasional gotcha.
It's kind of curious that Sam used that Narset, ticked it down to 3, but then hasn't ticked it down to 1, where it seems like effectively minus some Aria of Flame shenanigans, 3 and 1 are going to be the same.
Yeah. I mean, it does force you to target it with 2 Aria activations, but it just doesn't seem insanely difficult. That's going to happen just as quickly.
And it feels like we could maybe
have-
bounce that Aria with
That
the
would
Fairy.
be pretty good. Seems good. Oh, we've got a Sam up to 24 right now, by the way.
All right. That's the thing that Aria does.
Yes, it does, which makes bouncing it feel real good. Rar, take 1. Getting there.
So Sam could really use a threat that deals damage.
Yeah, it's if that Geist of Saint Traft wants to make an appearance, this game will not last long.
Ho!
Hey, look, go to 34. Let's see. Usually, still a huge threat, even if you're at 34. Damping Sphere in play? Not as big a threat.
And we discard a second aria.
Yeah, moving to discard occurs after any other effects. 33. Took 6 damage off his fetch shocking.
All right.
Didn't seem to matter now.
So Sam's going to at least have a couple turns to do something.
He's going to have to find something. Here's Nissa.
That's a thing.
That is a thing. This land is animate. Take 6. Blam. Yes, he already did plus.
So Sam is going to be able to next turn, unless Quentin shoots down that Teferi plus Teferi, then is going to be able to minus it to bounce the Aria again. So this Aria is kind of stretched pretty thin, having to deal with Narset and Teferi.
And now Nissa as well. So, you know, that lack of downtick on Narset is starting to make a lot more sense to me. You know, I didn't think it made a lot of sense at first. I agreed with you, but I think now, especially knowing that, like, if the Geist is one of Sam's sideboard pickups, he can't hit it with Narset.
It does sometimes feel bad to see a bunch of Snapcasters with Narset and like, well, can't get that one.
Little mopey.
All right, we're going to ping something. What are we pinging?
The song begins. Who are we singing to?
Huh? Big decisions.
Oh, it's a big thinker. Many targets. 1 to Nissa. Let us sing her a song. Sleight of hand. Take lightning bolt. Reasonable choice. 2 mana. Lightning bolt. Target.
I'm going to be able to take out...
Gonna take out Nissa if he wants. Okay, kill Teferi bolt Narset is the play. I think that makes plenty of sense. We're getting there. Maybe. If you can find a bounce spell for the Damping Sphere, I think it's game, but...
Well, Sam has plenty of cards hanging out.
And a clock. Big time clock. Yeah. Here we go. Here's another land beast. Got a floating green mana here. Here's another Noble Hierarch. That's another Exalted trigger. This is now a 2-turn clock. 7. 7. Yeah. Go to 6. All right, Quentin. I recommend winning the game. Here we go. Draw step. After you draw, tag your Spire Bluff Canal.
I feel like Quentin is probably playing a basic mountain here.
If he isn't.
Hope you are. Oh.
Yeah, chat, it is notable that even with Narset in play, effects that put cards directly into your hand are not draws, which is, you know, actually highly relevant in a lot of decks. You know, blue-white control draws plenty of cards, so Narset is damaging, but if you, things like Narset activations, and Search for Scanto, which is not always played anymore, but there are things to get around it. Up, and here's the bounce spell. It's Lotus Field time. Trigger. We're gonna sing a song to you.
Oh.
Third verse, same as the first. Here we go. Lotus Field. Got a Twiddle? No tax. Tax-free Twiddle.
Yeah, that's when you really want to have that negate, is that turn right there.
Oh, yep. That would be, yeah, that would be game if there was a negate. Here we go. I honestly think Quentin gets here from here, probably.
Yeah, this Aria Flame is going to be lethal with Quentin has been discarding the hand size, so
Yeah.
I feel like this is kind of just showing, making mana, showing the cards in your hand, but that's
Yeah.
yeah,
He
Aria Flame's
needs
going to be lethal very quickly.
5, 6,
I think 4 more
7,
spells.
8. Yeah, I think it's 4. 5 to you. 21. Yeah, 3 more.
Is everyone having fun?
I mean, at least this is going to be short. It's just cast,
Yeah.
3 more spells. Doesn't matter. As long as they're twiddles, which your deck is, I mean, what? Is it 12 twiddles? More than 12? Can we get an expert in the chat? How many twiddles?
I mean, 12 would seem appropriate for just having an alliteration.
Yeah, 12 twiddles.
Yeah.
How many twiddles short of a shipwreck are we here?
We need one more spell. One more spell.
Boom, 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 boom. Hey, look, twiddle. Doodle-doodle-doot. And we're done. All right, so that is 2 games
Zing.
going to Twiddlestorm, just a little too fast for Bant Super Friends. Though notably, Sam having Quentin on a very real clock in both games, it was just like a turn or two too short. And Aria Flame doing a ton of work here. Looks like we're going to get some sideboard discussions, which is super useful. Lightning Bolts came in, all the Arias. Looks like the Grafdigger's Cage and Rest in Pieces were a miss. We do see Negates having come in. We did see the Empty. You were totally right about that. Oh, all the Past in Flames came out. So I think at the end of the day, Sam did not take it to the next level and leave his Graveyard Hate in the board. I don't see that he brought in the Geist, which I think I like Geist in this matchup.
I like Geist. I kind of like maybe holding on to, depending on how many wraths that Sam has in the deck, like holding on to at least one of those in your main deck as a hedge against Empty the Warrens. And I also don't super like the Rest in Pieces. I feel like a card like Surgical Extraction would be all right to have in there, just because you can tag like one of the important arcane cantrips.
Yeah.
But Rest in Peace does seem a little bit mediocre, and like I don't think it does anything post board, right?
I think if you want to board thoughtfully and really board around Quentin's choices, and pretty predictable choices, you leave the Rest in Peace and the Grafdigger's Cage on the side, and then if Quentin wants to be super tricky about it, Quentin leaves in like 1 Past in Flames to capitalize on a choice like that. But I think even if that occurs, that's 1 card in Quentin's deck left in that, is harmed by 3 sideboard cards from Sam. And so I think overall, you just want to leave that Grave Hate in the side. What round are we in? Actually, a cute bunny. We are nearing the end of round 2. We will have 2 more rounds tonight. So y'all don't go anywhere.
And it seems like we don't quite have enough time to get up the end of another match here, so
yeah, we're a little short.
Might take a little break here, stretch our legs.
Yeah.
Do a little walk around, see if we have any other interesting decks hanging out to showcase on round number 3, and we will be back in the near future.
Yeah. See you soon.